Welcome to Two Sisters Podcast with your hosts, Kristy and Melissa, who are real sisters bringing you real talk about life and faith through humor, insight, and community. Now, let's get into this week's episode.
What's up, guys? It's Melissa
and Kristy,
and welcome to Two Sisters Podcast. Today we are still on the third season, and the theme of it is coaching sessions. And this particular session, we're going to talk about our emotions and how we deal with our emotions, how we're navigating, or for this episode, how we're not navigating so well with our emotions. So we're basically honing in on the area of communicating with suppressed emotions. Right, Kristy?
Yes. So I'm sure everyone has had at least one experience where they're having a disagreement, a discussion / aka argument with somebody else, be that for a family member, be that a romantic relationship, be that a coworker, whatever. And so you're having this disagreement and you have no idea what this is really about, right? This person says, and that time in third grade when you told the teacher that I broke your pencil, that really hurt me. And you're like 45 at this point, right? And so you're like, huh? What is happening? I just said, can you please not take, my coffee creamer that's in the refrigerator or something if you at work, right? You having a disagreement with your coworker and they talk about what you did in third grade, right? So what is that about? That is about suppressed emotions, okay? Some people are not the best at communicating.
Yeah.
They were not taught and given initially the correct tools to be able to express themselves, or the safety.
I think we talked about this before.
Or the safety to be able to express themselves.
So you think it's taught communication?
So they were not giving it is taught. It is modeled.
Okay.
Okay? Because just think about how we were raised. Our parents did not suppress what we wanted to say. Now, you might have get popped. You might have got popped. Well, let me speak for myself, because Melissa didn't really get popped. But I got popped plenty of times directly on my lip. Because I took freedom of speech a little too far. You understand? Okay? Melissa has always had decorum. And has always been a great child.
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean? So I took my parents... the rights that they gave me at freedom of speech,
my mama
and took it a little too far sometimes.
I thought you was talking about the parents, not us, though. I was thinking that you were saying modeled by what we saw or what.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Correct.
That they didn't suppress their emotions. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not quite. What I'm saying is they gave us an opportunity. Like, they modeled how a conversation is supposed to take place with us. Unfortunately, sometimes they didn't do it with one another.
Right.
But they modeled what a conversation is supposed to look like. How they gave us time to process our thoughts.
Yeah.
They gave us time to ask open-ended questions before open-ended questions was a phrase.
Right.
Right? Because wasn't nobody, I don't believe our parents read parenting books. It wasn't their thing.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like this was like a gift from God. Our parents were... They needed help in some areas.
Yeah.
But they did a great job of raising us.
Yeah.
Okay, even through their own obstacles and challenges that they had growing up.
Yeah.
So one of those things was how to communicate, right? And they did not, and more so our mother, they did not allow us or encourage us to hold emotions in that were sad and that were angry and that were hurtful.
Right.
So if we were hurt or we were sad, regardless of whether we was right or wrong in that, we were told to express ourselves.
Exactly.
Now what the kicker was I'm gonna say we came from a spanking home.
Right.
But I was the one that got the most spankings. And the audience out there obviously know why. Right? If you've known us virtually for any long amount of time,
right.
I got a lot to say. So, and I don't always put it in the best way. Okay.
Right.
So
That's funny.
So, before the whooping that was coming to me, mama would sit me down.
Yes.
And we would have a whole civilized conversation that would kind of throw me off because I'm like, oh, we understand each other now. Until whoosh, the belt came out. Okay, now it's time for you to get your whooping because we already discussed what this happened. How we come to this point. What you done did.
What you should have done.
What you should have done. How I feel about it. Now, come on, get your head punishment. All right. Love you much. Yes, I do. And then we would have a whole, after the whooping.
After the whooping. It was so crazy.
After the whooping, we would have another discussion, right? So I would be clear as to why this happened. So, I don't know, amazingly, I don't think everybody's household whoopings went like this, but amazingly, I wasn't mad. Like, after the whooping, I didn't feel I was injustice. It was an injustice.
Right.
I didn't feel,
It's true.
I felt like, you're right. Now, let's move on. Let me try to do better, because these here whoopings getting a little, consistent. So let me get my life. So with that being said, we understood the rules. Mm-hmm. We understood why the rules were in place. We understood that there were consequences, right, to our actions. And we've known that from a very early age because, again, I think maybe there might be some cultural differences, but in our household, in our culture, right from wrong real quick. You understand? 1.5,
Right.
Don't touch that.
Don't touch it.
And
I said.
And if you touch it,
don't touch it.
If you touch it, there's immediate consequences, right? Because overall, our parents are here to protect us.
Right.
They are here to guide us, right? Mm-hmm. They are our foundation. Before we know what the Bible is and Jesus is and God is and Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they are our foundation of what is true, what is right. They are our moral compass, right?
Yep.
And everyone did not grow up being taught a moral compass, right and wrong, speak your mind, although be respectful, like you didn't have that time to process that information. So as a 40-year-old, a 25-year-old, you have suppressed emotions because you never navigated that. Now, let me put a pin there. That's no excuse. You were raised a certain way.
Look at you.
You were raised a certain way, like, because that's Melissa gonna bring it right back to you. Use the issue, right? So let's put a pin in that. That can only be a reasonable reason, right?
To a certain point. Mm-hmm.
To a certain point.
Correct.
25,
like anything else,
is a good age.
Yep.
You not a teenager no more. Ain't been a teenager for 7 years at that point. Well, 19, 6 technically. At that point. Okay, we expect you to know how to communicate. If no one taught you, teach yourself. Mm-hmm. What we just talked about last episode. We are in a information age. Mm-hmm. Look it up. Read a book. Right? Old school. Go to the library. It's free. You might not know what the library is.
Probably don't even know what a library is.
At 25, because you ain't never had to use one. I don't know.
Learn what it is.
Okay.
Yes.
But
it's a resource.
But come on, you have to take responsibility. Walking around angry, frustrated, resentful, vengeful, right? Because of something that someone else did to you, or the person that you're mad at that they did to you 10, 15 years ago, outside of abuse, I feel like that's a different issue. We're not speaking to that. But just, you talk from a place of suppressed emotions. And you're not going to get anywhere until you express or unearth those suppressed emotions. You got to bring them up. They got to come out. If they got to be through a journal and it's just you, that journal, pen, and God, then do that. But suppressing those emotions is only going to get you so far, and you going that's it's dangerous, because you could be a particular person that you think you good, but um, the Bible says that there are no good people, right? If we take it to the black or white, we all have sinned and come short of the glory of God,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the only perfect person was Jesus Christ. Okay, so we do got to remember that. So we do got to remember that when we be like, because we just said the last episode, we good people and we deserve a good man. Like, let's keep that in perspective. You understand? Um, so you think you're a decent human being, and you find yourself having these interactions with people that are frustrating to you, mostly on their end, because they're trying to get words and emotions from you that you have not given anybody. And you're used to walking away from a conversation, or you're used to blowing up. You're used to these fits of anger and rage because of your suppressed emotions. Isn't that fair to you? Is that fair to the person that you're trying to communicate, the person that you love, the person that you like, the person that you care about? No, it's not. And the only person that can fix it, like human that can fix it, is yourself, right? Invite the spirit, invite God into the mix, because you sometimes you can't fix yourself.
Most times.
Practically, practically, when it has gotten to the point where you are popping off at people you don't understand, you're bringing up stuff from 10 years ago or something they did last year, and you bringing it into this argument, and y'all talking about whether y'all want tacos or steak. Like, come on, look at yourself and get help. And the first help is yourself, admitting that you have an issue, and that you don't know how to talk to people, and that you don't know how to communicate, right? There has to be, when you're grown, back and forth conversation. That's communication. But actually understanding and understanding what the person is saying, the person understanding what you're saying, like, that's the next level of communication. And as long as you are lying to yourself, and then thereby lying to the other individual,
I said yourself.
and thereby lying to the other person, because you're not telling them how you truly feel.
Could they just also be trying what they call protecting that person because they don't want to hurt their feelings? That's why they not telling them how they really feel, because they don't want to hurt them, want to hurt that person. Do you think that's a thing?
I think that's an excuse of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's all excuse, right?
I think that's an excuse of a thing, because you know how to communicate to your boss.
I say that all the
You
time.
know how to communicate to your pastor.
Client.
Your pastor. You know how to communicate to the person that has hired you for a particular job. You're not cursing them out. You're not telling them they stink. You're not telling them they fat.
Oh my gosh.
Right? That
So you think people just become mean because they're suppressing their feelings, their emotions?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I think that's a separate issue.
Right. Okay.
I think that's a separate issue. I don't necessarily think that is a suppressed emotion. That's why I paused so long, because I'm trying to figure out what you talk about. But yeah.
You know, I'm talking about what? When I asked about if they protecting somebody else.
Right.
Because I just think that's an excuse that I've heard.
Now,
I don't want to hurt
if
them.
if they say, "Oh, I have so much stuff inside of me that if it come out, it could hurt your feelings." Like, okay, that, yes, but telling me that you don't want to tell me the truth as far as like what you think about that person or me, that's not protecting me. You see what I'm
But in
saying?
their mind, it is. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I get that excuse that I didn't want to tell them because I would hurt them. I would hurt them, and I don't want to hurt them.
You don't want to tell them what's going on with you. The person doesn't want to tell them what's going on with them because it's just so much dark knowledge or something.
Well, whatever it is they feel like they going through. I don't know if it's...
How is what they going through in their life going to hurt the other person?
Maybe they feel like they know them as one way and they're not. maybe.
That's a charade, sir and ma'am.
Okay.
The world.
I just asked the question, ma'am.
Okay, I'm sorry. Look here. Man.
I just asked
That
the question.
sounds like one of...
Just, okay, never mind. Go ahead with your story, Kristy.
Let's talk about it, because if that is a major excuse, let me tell you, it's not an excuse. In my opinion.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
For example, if you have a man
Mm-hmm.
who doesn't want to talk to his woman and says, if she knew all that I really had to say
Or going through,
mm-hmm. it would hurt her. Okay, how is your life experience going to hurt her?
Maybe because
it happened to you.
Right, maybe, and because they hadn't processed it. And that's why maybe he's taking it out on her, or taking it, you know what I'm saying, or running away from arguments, or, you know what I mean?
It sounds like it's going to hurt that person that's keeping it inside. That's who it's going to hurt.
It's already hurting them, because they don't want
right.
to deal.
So if you don't want to tell your woman what has happened to you or what your life has been like, and you talking about it's just going to hurt her if I really tell her what my life is. No, you scared she going to leave you.
Right.
So that's going to hurt you. You ultimately don't want to be hurt.
Mm.
And what could you possibly say if this woman loves you? What could you possibly say? What would truly hurt her is something like this. I've been cheating on you this whole time because I have a problem. I don't feel love. So I got to come out here and I got to sleep with this woman and I got to sleep with that woman. So yes, that will hurt her.
So what if he's not physically cheating with anyone, but he don't love her anymore?
Oh, she didn't know that straight away. Straight away.
That would hurt her though, right?
Yes, it would hurt her.
Right. So
yes, it would hurt her.
What if, because, I've heard that. What if he was molested and he has issues in the bedroom because of that, mm-hmm. but he don't want to tell her that, mm-hmm. because then, and it is to a degree, it is on them, because it's like they feel insecure about themselves. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. And he has, it's not a lashing out or whatever, but it's like he's making excuses about her that makes her insecure. Mm-hmm. So then it's like he's hurting her. So he's saying that he's trying to keep that part that happened.
That's warped, as far as they have remixed this so much to that you have convinced it in your mind, mm-hmm. that you're still protecting this other person.
Exactly.
When we gonna circle right back to you're protecting yourself. Mm-hmm. Because you don't want the consequences of being honest.
Right.
Which is deception.
Yep.
Now, if molestation happened, that is extremely traumatic.
Yes.
And it's not talked about as much when it happens to a man.
Correct.
If you are partnering with a woman and you are married to her, or you are trying to be married to her, she deserves to know. Now, can you keep that to yourself forever? Absolutely. It is your right. If you want to keep it between you and God, but if you know that you are exhibiting behavior that is indeed hurting her,
right?
How?
But he's embarrassed to tell her.
Withholding that truth is just delaying more hurt and more pain and more destruction of that relationship.
Right.
You know what I mean? And ultimately, you want to be accepted by this one woman. I completely understand that. We want to be accepted by the person that we love. However, the only person that truly has to accept us is God. Right? So we need to go back. We need to go back to your foundation with God, who He says you are. He says you're the apple of your eye. So if this woman, ultimately you have to sit with those consequences. If telling her your past of someone that did something to you that you had no control over, if that makes her look at you different, mm-hmm. if that makes her leave you, then she should be gone. and the door should hit her,
Kristy,
where the good Lord right her, because she don't deserve you in the first place. You understand me? You understand me?
I'm just giving you examples of what I've had people tell me.
Right. So ultimately, you don't want
it's not just
a wolf in sheep's clothing in your life. You don't want to be partnered and up here having whole families with someone that really ain't for you. Because if a person will leave you based on trauma that happened to you that was no fault of your own, they don't really love you, or they could genuinely love you, but that's just not the person for you for whatever reason. You know what I mean? You have to partner with someone that is strong enough to be with you, that will that has the tools, and we're not blaming the other person. If the other person walks out,
that's their right.
That's their right.
Yep.
And we can't be mad at them. We could be hurt. Like circumstances hurt us every other day in something, right? You work for a company for 20 years, they decide you just a number. What? When you didn't give them your best years, right? Your back, your kneecaps, your elbows, your hips. You know what I'm saying? Your hip joints. You done gave them all your good strength. And they treat you like a number. Like, that's why we have to be rooted in Christ. Like, it's becoming so clear, like, every day, right? God says that man will, not might, will disappoint you. So for those out there that are going through a circumstance like this, I feel for you. We feel for you. Your strength has to be in the Lord. We have all, not all, but most of us have, someone has walked away from us.
Mm-hmm.
Or we have had to walk away from somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Be that a best friend, be that an intimate partner, be that a job. We've had to walk away, and we've been walked away from in some sort, right? 5 years later, 7 years later, 10 years later, you can look back on that and be like, man, that was the best thing that happened to me. In retrospect. So let's get to the point and believe that there will be a retrospect in the situation that you're in, Yeah. But you got to take those hard steps. Like, we can't be playing with this life, this one life that God's been giving us. We can't be punks. Like, we have to stand we have to stand on the word and gird ourselves in his truth. That word is our protection, and it might hurt, but ultimately what the devil means for bad, God turns to good. And if that is getting your suppressed emotions out, do that. You need to be healed and whole so that you can interact with other healed, whole persons. And if you come in contact with somebody that is not healed and whole, you'll be strong enough and wise enough to get counsel from God to see, hey, am I supposed to be in this person's life? Am I supposed to be loving them through this? Or do you, without trying to be their God?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there are situations where people have the wisdom, have the strength to be in a relationship with somebody and to be a positive person in their life.
Yeah.
To be someone that helps them become stronger, become more courageous. So I can't tell you just walk away from broken people. They ain't no good. I don't know that. I'm not God. I don't know who God has for you.
Right.
But as Melissa said, we have to do that balance, because we as women, we have a tendency to get with someone that has suppressed emotions.
Yeah.
AKA wounds, right? Or not wounds, but wounds.
Mm-hmm.
And we feel like we can love them. Back to health. We can heal them.
We can heal
them with our love.
With our love, yeah.
And again, everybody need to individually go with God. But in most of the circumstances that we've been in, and our clients been in, and our friends been in, et cetera, that ain't what the Lord said. That is not what the Lord has ordained. He did not tell us to take this project and mold it as clay, because he is the potter. We are not.
Oh, man.
Okay. So, I'm not saying that it can't happen.
No, I'm not.
But I haven't come across many relationships where that is what that is.
Right.
But again, go to the Lord. That's why you gotta have God for yourself.
Yep.
And know what he wants and who he wants you to partner with. But you can't partner with someone. Here's a very good indication whether or not you should be with said suppressed emotions, maybe plus, broken down self person. Sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that. If you're with someone that has had suppressed emotions currently, and that person has even more, like, say, trauma or unhealed hurt in their life that they're not willing to work out, and if you're with them and you think that you are the one to love them through this, this is one indication that you maybe should not, and that is if being with them, and trust me because I know from personal experience. Okay, write me. If you need to talk to me, call me. If you need someone to talk to,
podcast.twosisters at gmail.com.
Listen, I can help you out. Okay. So one indication is that being in communication relationship with this person, you are feeding into them and you are feeding into them and you're loving them and you're loving them. But at the same time, loving this person and putting out this energy to this person, this exhibiting this amount of, effort is what I want to say, is in turn, listen closely, come closer to the mic or the speaker, is breaking you down.
Mm-hmm.
If pouring into this person's life is in return breaking you down, that's not it.
Mm.
That's not it. That is not it.
Okay, that's not it.
I'm done. Because I can.
Oh, okay.
I had to rein myself in on the last episode. Let me rein myself. Have you even said anything on this episode? Oh my gosh!
It's all right. They got the message.
I'm so sorry. People.
Well, all right.
Oh man. Well, I'm not sorry,
communicating.
But, I mean, Melissa.
It's all right.
You didn't have to let me take over the whole episode.
Communicating with suppressed emotions. That is it. What she said. And like she said, I feel like that main last gem was, or is, if you're pouring into them and it's breaking you down, that's not it. People just, again, we always say to take accountability for yourself. Be self-aware. This is what self-awareness is. Once you realize that you's the problem, then you need to be the one to fix it. It's not anyone else. And then it's just ultimately time to stop pointing fingers and blaming everyone else and do your due diligence and do the work that's necessary to become a better, kinder human being. Period. You are a human being and you have to coexist with other human beings. So just do the work to become a better person for yourself. And like she said, in this time, especially this time of age, this day and age, it's about being rooted in your faith and, doing the work with the help of God. Like, so get in your word, pray, and get your strength from the word, get your strength from God. Because again, at the end of the day, at the end, it's just you. It's just going to be you. It's not going to be about anybody else. So get you right and want to get you right. And if you need help with the want to, because again, remember, you matter. Like, everything matters. No one's perfect. No one is without fault. No one is without flaws. No one is without imperfections. We are being perfected. And the being perfected is not by ourselves. It's with the help of God. So you do need help. So just get the right help. And with that being said, just know that you matter. So understand that and be yourself. Okay? Be yourself. So yeah, that's all I got to say at the end of all that. That's all I have to say. I agree. So we don't want to suppress our emotions. We want to be able to communicate effectively. We want to be able to articulate what we want. And that's most of the time is just you dealing with the thing that bothered you or that upset you or that you didn't agree with at the time it happened. You don't have to hold on to or suppress how you feel or suppress, your desire or your wants. You can fully speak to that thing. Speak to whomever about whatever they said or done or didn't say or didn't do at that time. Don't hold on to that and allow it to fester in your soul. Because that's what happens and then you start communicating with the suppressed emotions. And nobody have no idea what you're talking about, why you're acting like you're acting. So it doesn't have to be that way.
Ultimately, it's fear. And you recognize it. And God says that He has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, you are suppressing these emotions. You're not speaking what you really feel to another human being because you are afraid in some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
You're afraid what they're going to think about you, or like you said, you're afraid of of hurting them. Right? But we can't live our life like that. Do not let fear have any place in your life. Kick it out. It don't belong.
Kick it out. All right. That's it, guys. Thank you for supporting Two Sisters podcast. Again, if you have questions, you want to send or submit to us, submit it to our email at podcast.twosisters@gmail.com. Kristy's invited you to contact her, call her. Okay,
Listen,
you can
need some help now. I would do my best.
You can contact her on her site at kristymagazine.com. And again, you can always visit Two Sisters Podcast at twosisterspodcast.net.
And I feel like this is she don't ever plug anything for herself. But Melissa has a journal. She's written a journal.
Devotional.
I say, listen. It's a devotion. It's a devotional with a journal with journal entries in it.
Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That is designed for you to work out many different areas of your life. It is geared toward women. However, we have had men buy it.
Yeah.
So hey, it is equal opportunity. But since we're talking about suppressed emotions, I think that would be a good tool for anyone out there that is experiencing this challenge to get. The devotional is wonderful. She did go through it in her reading club.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, is it at this point a year ago? If not more, 2 years ago. Man.
I go through it every year, so the next one isn't until next year. But yeah, it's called A Love Like No Other.
Mm-hmm. And who is that love?
So yeah,
who are you speaking about? Who's a love like no other?
So besides God, okay, besides God.
All right.
Basically, I named the book like that because no one can love you like you.
Mm-hmm. Besides God. Mm-hmm.
Besides God. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and it's about seeing yourself how God sees you, and about you learning about yourself and learning those intricate things and those unique things about yourself, and embracing all of you, and looking in the mirror, seeing who you are, and owning that. And that's exactly what's on the cover. It's a woman's hand holding a mirror. Because the reason why I even thought about this is because I believe like my first, I would say professional advice, basically, I was just listening to a woman not even want to look at herself in the mirror. And I thought, wow, how horrible is that you really cannot stand to look at your own self. And so we have to work from the inside out, basically. And so that's that. She always know how to plug that in, boy. I tell you, boy.
Not always. Rarely do I.
Okay, well, true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, if that's something you're interested in, that is on my website at melissamagazine.net. It's called A Love Like No Other. It is a 21-day devotional. Okay?
And for those who are recently out of a relationship and you need to recover and build yourself up, I have an ebook called Breakup Affirmations.
Yeah, those are wonderful.
On my website.
Yes.
And do we have our products on our Two Sisters website?
We don't.
Individually?
Mm-mm.
We need to do that. So we have those tools out there, guys. We both have articles on our websites that are helpful, that are uplifting, that is completely free, that you can use as a resource if
need be.
If need be.
Yep. All right, guys. Thanks again. We'll talk soon.
Talk soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Two Sisters Podcast, where we hope to encourage you on your journey of transformation and healing while having fun along the way. Follow us on IG and Twitter. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends and family. It's available on all major podcast providers. Just search for Two Sisters Podcast. Till next time.